Help all kids learn and grow with PBS Kids. Thank you for supporting your PBS station.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Friends to know and ways to grow, a reading rainbow. I can be anything. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. Reading
Hi there, and welcome to New York Harbor, port of entry into America for millions of aliens. No, I don't mean creatures from outer space, but foreigners, immigrants from another land who chose to come here. Ellis Island used to be the gateway to America. It's closed now, but many aliens from all over the world had to come here before they could become American citizens. Can you imagine how these people must have felt when they first arrived?
Look, it's Ellis Island. We are finally in America. There is the Statue of Liberty. Children, it is America. Stand up and wave your flags. We get off the boat. What will be next?
Dear Mama and Papa, we just landed. I'm crying. I miss you so much. The Great Hall is so big, our whole village would fit inside. I'm lonely, but there are many other children, and already I have made new friends.
I stand in long lines waiting to see the doctors, daydreaming of what my new life will be like. All of us, old and young, must be checked by the doctors to make sure that we bring into America no sickness. It is hard for the children to be here without their mothers and their fathers. My first meal in America, fresh fruit, warm bread, and sweet butter, the first since home. I have dreams, a new life, great hopes. I'll see America. What waits for me here?
For those immigrants, coming to America must have been like landing on a new planet. And many of them were children who came without their parents. Well, this book, Watch the Stars Come Out, is the true story of a brother and sister who came here all alone in the black belly of a big ship.
Watch the Stars Come Out by Ricky Levinson. Illustrated by Diane Good. Read by Laura Heyman. When I was a little girl, my big brother and I went on a big boat to America. My aunt, Mama's sister, took us to the boat. She didn't bring my two little brothers. They were too small. They would come on a boat when they were older. Aunt gave us a barrel full of dried fruit. She asked an old lady to watch over us. And she did. She also ate our dried fruit. The old lady and brother and I went down the steps to our room. I counted the steps as we carried our bundles down, but there were so many, I forgot to count after a while. Sometimes the boat rocked back and forth. It It was fun. Some people didn't like it. They got sick. The old lady got very, very sick. She died. Brother told me not to worry. He would take care of me. He was 10. At night, when I went to sleep, I couldn't see the stars come out in the sky. That made me sad. One morning, we looked across the water. There were 2 islands near each other. One of them had a statue standing on it, a lady with a crown. Everyone got very excited and waved to her. I did too. When the boat stopped, we carried our bundles down the plank. I started to cry. I did not see Mama and Papa and Sister. A sailor told me not to worry. We would see them soon. We went on another boat to a place on an island. Brother and I went into a small room with all the other children without mamas and papas. A lady looked at me all over. I wondered why. I waited for Brother. The lady looked at him, too. The next day, we went on a ferry. The land came closer and closer as we watched. Everyone waved. We did, too. Mama and Papa and Sister were there. We went on a trolley to our home. Mama said it was a palace. Mama's palace was on the top floor. I counted the steps as we walked up. 52. Mama warmed a big pot of water on the stove. She poured some into the sink and helped me climb in to wash. Mama washed my hair, and when it was dry, she brushed it. It felt good. Sister gave us cookies and glasses of tea. I kissed Mama and Sister goodnight. Papa patted me on my head and said I was his little princess. I went into our room and climbed into Sister's bed. It was right next to the window. I watched the stars come out. 1, 2, 3.
When it comes to welcoming immigrants to America, there's only one star. And here she is, the Statue of Liberty. One of the first sights immigrants saw upon entering our country. To them, she represented all of their hopes for a better life. Right now, she's being overhauled to prepare for her 100th birthday, and it's taking hundreds of people to get her into shape. One of those lucky people is my good friend, A.J. Anello. Let's go meet him on the job. Hi, A.J.
Ready to go?
Let's do it. As we rode up the elevator to the statue's base, I could see that the repair work was well underway. I was truly amazed at the complicated web of pipes called scaffolding that surrounded Liberty. The scaffolding made it easy for the crew to reach any spot to be fixed. Wow, those are the biggest toes I've ever seen. Is it okay if I touch them?
Well, sure, go ahead.
I couldn't believe I was standing close enough to actually touch Liberty's feet. And AJ showed me something very symbolic about the statue.
Over here, the broken chains that represent freedom in the new land.
What's going on up at the top?
Further up on the statue, there's a great deal of damage. Rust spots and skin damage. Let's go up and investigate.
This scaffolding is so huge. But is it safe?
Yeah, it sways a little, but it's safe.
This is quite a view, AJ.
You can see the whole harbor from up here. LeVar, look up here. See the lady's arm stretched out through the scaffolding? At the top is the famous Torch of Freedom.
Well, there's her hand and torch, but AJ, where's the flame?
It's being completely rebuilt in a workshop downstairs. When they finish, the new one will be brought back up here.
AJ, I gotta tell you, this is unbelievable to be standing this close to the Statue of Liberty's face.
Not many people get to come up here, LeVar.
Now, just out of curiosity, how high are we?
About 300 feet up in the air right now.
Now, wait a minute. She's hollow.
That's right. The copper skin is wrapped around a steel skeleton.
Wow. What's this up here?
That's a hole in the nose, which is from corrosion from the statue being here all these years in the harbor.
The wind and the rain and stuff, huh?
That's right.
Kind of like rust on a piece of metal.
Exactly.
So when you replace a when you replace a piece like that, what do? You just take out the section or what?
Well, for spots like we have in the nose, we'll have to replace little pieces of the copper skin.
Like a patch.
Right.
Yeah. And what are these rivets that
Those
the
are
skin
rivets.
goes together with?
Those are rivets that hold the skin together, and they'll be taken out one by one, and they'll be replaced one by one.
Unbelievable.
Okay, LeVar, I have to go downstairs for a while, and I'll leave you up here with the lady, and I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks, AJ.
Okay.
I think I know what immigrants must have felt seeing this statue for the first time. Her torch of freedom welcoming them to a new world, promising new hopes, new dreams, new lives. Most immigrants nowadays come to the United States by plane, so the statue isn't the first thing they see. I wonder, what are their first impressions of America?
We came in November, which is autumn, and there was a great smell of leaves, autumn leaves, and I never smelled that before in my whole life.
My first impression was that I'm so little and I'm surrounded by this strange city that I never saw before in my whole life. And I was very frightened because I don't know the language or the people.
And I came here, it was night, and I looked down by the window, you see all those lights and shining. It was nice, all those cars were small, like toy.
When I first came from Cuba, I was 4 years old, and I was not allowed to bring any toys whatsoever. So my mother bought me this doll, and it was very ugly, but I see that now, but at the time it was an absolutely beautiful doll. And this was the first thing I had, and I still have that doll.
One of the things that I like is the tall buildings. In Japan, after the school is over, you have to clean up your room, mop the floor and clean the windows. But here, after you finish the school, you can just go home. And that's what I like about it.
When you come here and you taste the pizza, it's delicious.
I taste the first American food, hot dog. I loved it.
Here, on Essex Street in Lower Manhattan, many immigrants started their new lives in America. They tried to blend in quickly by putting aside their old ways, but many traditions survived, like the old world recipe for a good old-fashioned sour pickle. How much, Lou?
Oh, just help yourself, LeVar.
Thanks a lot. Now that's a pickle. You know, today we're very proud of our different heritages. And one of the ways we show it is at special festivals, like the one held at Liberty State Park in New Jersey, where Americans of different backgrounds gather to celebrate and share their cultures.
We come to these ethnic festivals because it's a way of entertaining people and showing them, what we do. Because we're proud of it. And, we get to show other people what Irish dancing's all about.
Grixoblaki here! Grixoblaki! Very nice, Grixoblaki! How many?
It's not a sausage, but it's a Lithuanian kielbasa. It's not smoked, it's made fresh.
Made from scratch.
Everything is homemade.
Boy! It's wonderful!
This still dancing art is known as Mokojumbi. Mokojumbi came from West Africa. One country in the Caribbean that still maintains this part of the culture very strongly is the Virgin Islands. This is where we come from. This is a very closed, select group that are chosen to do this. You don't teach it to everyone that you meet on the street. So you must pick someone special. I pick my children. They are expected to pass it along to their children. When it gets to their generation, it should be even greater for us to look back and see what advances they will make. I'd like to share my Caribbean culture with everybody at this ethnic festival, and to see what we do in our land, as well as see others what they do in theirs.
Where'd you get that?
I believe it was next row over, just down here. It's a Puerto Rican meat patty.
Has it got peppers and things in it?
It's stuffed with meat and peppers and tomatoes.
This is a bean sprout pancake. It's made with a special dough, with bean sprout, scallion, carrots, and onion. And then she will put it in the wok.
It reminds me of Rice Krispies, because it's just as crunchy, but it tastes much better. I'm gonna have another bite. I'm gonna have another bite. I'm gonna have another bite. I'm gonna have another bite.
Delicious.
It is. My children grew up on this, and they make it. And they don't live here. They're out in Wisconsin. We're going to spread it out all over the country.
We organized the group with the purpose of teaching our young people not to forget what is their background and musical culture.
The name of our group is La Trulla Latina. It is important to us to preserve and cheer our music, folkloric music.
I learned music because my mother used to go to presentations like this when I was smaller, so I learned it just by listening. I listen to other people play the instrument, and I just get the beat, and I play mine.
Almost every nation in the world express their culture through their music. And we as Puerto Ricans do not want to forget that music is part of our heritage and our culture.
We Americans sure have a lot of different looks, tastes, and traditions that come from all over the world. Many of those traditions came with travelers who sailed by ship, facing all kinds of adventures in their new home. Well, here are a few books about some brave adventurers. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Hi, I'm Chantal. How would you feel if you had to leave your grandmother and friends you've known all your life? How would you feel if you had to move to a whole new different country? Pretty rough, huh? That's what this book is all about. This book is called The Long Way to a New Land by Joan Sandin. Carl Erik, the little boy in the story, lives with his family in Sweden. There's no rain nor crops, and the family is very hungry. After a lot of talking, they decided to move to America, and each child had to only bring one toy. The boat ride was really rough. The water was coming in, and all they had to eat was dried bread, water, and dried up cheese. It was a really rough journey coming to America. If you like stories about traveling adventures or how the immigrants came to America, well, this is the book for you. I think you will find it very interesting. The Skog. He's ugly. He's terrifying. Or is he? My name is Gautam Srikant, and I would like to tell you about a terrific adventure story called The Island of the Skog by Stephen Kellogg. It was National Rodent Day when a brave group of mice got tired of being chased by cats. So they sailed away on an antique ship. At first, their voyage was dreamy and comfortable, but then Captain Bouncer read the compass upside down. After battling storms, Jenny cried out, "Land ho!" They had arrived at the island of the Skog. There's a big surprise at the end of this book, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll need to check it out of the library and find out for yourself. Hi. It isn't easy being a new kid in school, especially when you have an accent and you talk differently. That's how Molly feels in this book called Molly's Pilgrim. Molly has come to America from Russia. When she goes to school, Elizabeth and her friends tease her. I felt bad for Molly when the kids were mocking her. When she brings a pilgrim doll to school, Elizabeth laughs at her. She says, "That doesn't look like a pilgrim to me." My favorite part in the book was when one of the kids, Emma, goes up to Molly and says, "I like your doll best." I'm Monica, and I recommend that you read this book because it shows that there are still pilgrims coming to America. Let's welcome them.
Everywhere around the world, they come into America. Every time that flag's unfurled, they come into America. Got a dream to take them there. They come into America. Got a dream they come to share. They come into America.
Miss Liberty's ready to welcome newcomers again. But is America still as accepting of immigrants as she always was? I guess that's up to you. It all depends on how you look at people or ideas that are unfamiliar to you. Just keep in mind that someday the shoe may be on the other foot. Like our ancestors, someday we may be the aliens on our way to other worlds. I wonder who or what will be there to greet us. I'll see you next time. Today's Reading Rainbow books are Watch the Stars Come Out by Ricky Levinson, illustrated by Diane Good, published by E.P. Dutton. The Long Way to a New Land by Joan Sandin, published by Harper & Row. The Island of the Skog by Stephen Kellogg, published by Dial Books for young readers. Molly's Pilgrim by Barbara Cohen, illustrated by Michael J. Duraney, published by Lothrop, Lee, and Shepherd Books.